Hare Krishna. Okay,
Hare
great.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we
Hare
are
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prerna Mataji. Welcome, welcome. So we are doing Isopanisad. We've completed 4 mantras of this particular Upanishad. Yeah, and let's do some quick revision. But before that, I just wanted a view on is the pace okay for this? What I'm typically trying to do is one mantra divided into two classes of 1 hour each, so that we go into depth about each of the aspects mentioned there. That is what my original plan and thought was. Uh, does the pace look okay, or is it slow, or I don't know what is the view?
It's okay, Prabhuji.
It's okay. Yeah, fine, fine. Okay, so that's what I just wanted, because now then we can, change pace, or maybe we can do one mantra in one class. I thought that might be probably a bit too much if you want to go into depth with what Srila Prabhupada wants to say, because I think more than the mantra, Srila Prabhupada's purports is something which I want to emphasize more on, because that is how we will be able to comprehend through the medium of this fantastic founder, Acharya of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. Okay, great. So, like we've seen the overview now of what the Isopanishad is, I'm not going to keep on repeating, but we all know this picture of the vision, guidelines, and practices. Ideally, what should happen is that after we finished off the Isopanishad, there has to be some change in our lifestyle. Some application of some of these particular concepts have to definitely come in into our lifestyle, because that's what the entire thought process of reading a book is. A book should make some change, isn't it? Otherwise, it could be, I mean, of course, we are all trying to understand who we are, what is our purpose here, and how are we basically getting closer to God. We've all decided we want to be closer to God, and therefore we've decided to read Isopanishad. Yeah, and we've seen this foundational picture or narrative that Isopanishad gives us in terms of vision, guidelines, and prayers. And overall, in the vision part, where we are focusing now in our efforts, we've seen the foundational knowledge of the Supreme Person. We've seen the concept of infinity and how the Supreme Lord is infinity or infinite. We've understood it through the three key concepts of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, which is Sat as in eternity, Chit as in knowledge, and Ananda as in bliss. Yeah. And we've understood this concept from the position of how the Lord is a whole, WHOLE. Yeah, whole as in Purna. And the concept of Purnam is what gets introduced to us as the foundational knowledge about the Supreme Lord. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. And the concept is explained through the process of division. That from this infinite thing, if something is taken out, then whatever is taken out is also full, and whatever remains is also full or whole. So that's how the Supreme Lord is. He is whole. He is complete. Yeah, and he's so complete that even if you remove something, he still remains complete. And whatever comes out also is complete in itself. Yeah. So that's the foundational knowledge. And therefore, we saw now what is our key foundational practice based on this foundational knowledge. So we saw mantra 1, 2, and 3, which talks about practices for living in Buddhism. Mantra 1 introduces the key concept of dash and dash.
Uh, Ishava, it talks
Ishavasyam. Very good.
Ishavasya,
Ishavasyam.
and
Yeah,
it
which
also
is
speaks about, uh, which is, everything is of Lord and
very
nothing.
nice. And the other dash? Dash and dash, I said. One is Ishavasya, correct? The other dash is Hare Krishna. Sorry, am I audible? I think Rashmi is gone into a loop.
Thing belongs to you, and there's only a quota small.
No, I think we missed you. Your internet got frozen, or maybe mine
Okay,
got.
yeah. So it's a
No, so
mantra one. Sorry.
mantra one is talks about Isha Vasyam. You correctly said. What was the other
Yeah.
dash about?
And the other one is it talks about that we all have a quota
Quota.
uh,
Very nice.
when
Huh? Quota was the
given to
word.
us. Yeah.
Very
And
nice.
we need to be happy in what we have.
Correct. Isha Vasyam and Kota are the two key concepts that we've seen in Mantra 1. Yeah, and therefore, as a continuation, Mantra 2 talks of
Talks about. So one who believes in this and works in accordance to this will never be
yes,
affected with the three modes of nature and will also be um, will not be bound by karma and will live
karma.
for
Very
whatever
nice.
number of years he
Years he
survives.
stays. Very nice. Yeah. So, if Mantra 2 talks about following this principle of Isha Vasyam and following the principle of Kota or contentment. Yeah. So, if we follow these two principles, then when we will act on the platform of akarma, because we are doing everything for the Lord, knowing that Lord is the sole master of everything here. Now, so when we act on that Ishavasya principle, we are doing it on the platform of akarma, which means we will not get bound by the law of karma. Yeah, and therefore we will be not we will not gain any karma. No karmas means, yeah, we will get liberation. Yeah, and three modes of material nature also will not act. We will go beyond the three modes of material nature, and we will be acting in transcendence. And therefore, the other aspect then comes in is, what if we do not follow this law? Yeah, if you do not follow Ishavasyam and the principle of Kota, then Mantra 3 talks about those who do not follow. How are they called? What are these people called who do not follow? Uh,
It is
ah, no, I'm looking at the Mantra 3 definition.
Atmaha.
Atmaha, very nice. The killer of the soul. These people are called the killer of the soul. So, of course, not that they are killers, not that the soul can be killed, but the soul, concept of that soul or concept of that, they just act on the bodily platform. They do not give importance to the soul within. Anju Mataji had a point, right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
how does that Isha Vasya principle is applicable for ESCON? Like, there are these questions, right? That
Mm-hmm.
we apply on us, we apply on the society because there are different type of political leaders and all this.
Mm-hmm.
They think that everything belongs to them. But how does this is applicable for ESCON?
ISKCON is like everything belongs to Krishna, no? So
Okay.
everything is belonging. Whatever we do in connection. The name itself is Krishna consciousness. The name itself has Krishna in it, isn't it? So the
Yeah.
organization itself is belonging to Lord Krishna and is proposed. So if you look at the 7 principles of, okay, now followers, maybe there might be some exceptions, some are not following correctly. All of that is separate. We're talking about conceptual point here. That even if you look at the 7 principles, has anybody knows the 7 objectives of ISKCON? Does anybody know? It's a very interesting thing as to what Srila Prabhupada made this, and it's actually incorporated. It's written in the incorporation documents. Yeah, so if you look at, just let's quickly search that 7 objectives of ISKCON. Yeah, so if you, this our 7 purposes of ISKCON. So if you look at this particular mission, what is ISKCON about? Yeah. So systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate people. So what are we disseminating? We're disseminating Krishna conscious knowledge. We are telling them how to achieve real unity and peace in the world. So this is about Krishna. This is acting on the Ishavasya principle, isn't it? Yeah, because we are, of course, giving first knowledge about the Ishavasya principle itself. Propagate Krishna consciousness as it is revealed in the great scriptures of India, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. What are Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam about? About Lord Krishna himself, isn't it? So consciousness of Krishna is being propagated, which means Again, the entire idea is to act on the Ishavasya principle because everything belongs to Lord Krishna. Now, if you look at the third point, that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of God, each soul and part and parcel of Krishna. Yeah, everything is in relation to Lord Krishna. And what else is the idea? To bring together society nearer to Krishna, isn't it? So we are trying to bring everybody nearer to Krishna. That's what the other principle is. To teach and encourage Sankirtana movement, congregational chanting. So to the whole process of doing japa in the morning, artis, and reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all of this is Sankirtana, distribution of books, utilizing the money for building temples, which are spiritual hospitals. Now they want to remove the core root cause of problems. Erect for the members of society large holy places of transcendental pastimes. Yeah, so temples, basically building of temples, building of so many things. Closer to the purpose of teaching a simpler, natural way of life, not getting into this complex karmic, spider web. Rather to teach, live simply, simple living, high thinking, or high thinking, simple living. That is what is the other point. And with a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes, publish, distribute periodicals, books, magazines, other writings. Yeah, which means again to teach everybody about the Ishavasya principle, teach everybody about Krishna. So if you see the crux of the entire mission, mission of the entire society, he made this very clear, and he fought with this in 1966 when he incorporated ISKCON in New York. There was when you file your papers for making a chapter, making a organization, they kind of want you to advise what are you going to do, what is your mission, what is your objective. And Srila Prabhupada beautifully articulated that these are the 7 things that we want to do, basically. And if you see that's what we do. Like tomorrow is Jagannath Rath Yatra. We are also doing Jagannath Rath Yatra, propagating Krishna consciousness, doing festivals, doing all of that. So like that. So definitely everything that is being done by ISKCON is in a way application of the Ishavasya principle.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's quite clear now.
Yeah. Fantastic question, though. So very good. So that's what about the principle. So if you follow Ishavasya principle, we are getting akarma. So if you follow what is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada as 7 principles, we're going to do akarma, basically, isn't it? All of these teachings, if they are implemented. And if you do not do, then atmaha, you're a killer of the soul. Why you're a killer of the soul? Because you are not fulfilling the purpose of your current mission of why we've got this particular body. Yeah. So then mantra 4, we saw more information. Now, if I have to apply Ishavasya principle, I need to have some faith, right? I need to know who Lord Krishna is. Now, and we saw in context of who Lord Krishna is, to whom I am doing this, for whom I am doing all of this, my real master. To know a real bit more about my master, we saw mantra number 4, which talks about, anybody?
Here we talk about Achintya Bheda Bhed.
Very nice. Achintya Bheda Bhed.
God
Simultaneous
is
oneness and
everywhere.
difference.
Yeah, he has an address, but he
He's
is present everywhere and he's doing everything.
Very nice. And something more, he is faster. We talk about how he's everywhere because he's faster than the mind. That's how we saw exactly. Yeah, he is everywhere. Why? Because he can reach everywhere he's there so many miles away in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavana, but still he is present everywhere. And there's an analogy that we saw, 2 analogies we saw as to how this is possible.
Fire has a
fire. Very nice. Fire, or as in the sun, or fire propagates through heat and light. So fire is in one place in some corner, Like the sun is a big ball of fire. Yeah. But how is the sun present everywhere? Through sunlight, isn't it? Yeah. So the Supreme Lord also is in that one, is sitting there as a person in Goloka Vrindavana, but he is also present in everyone's heart. Yeah, as Paramatma, isn't it? So he is there and he's here. He has an address, but still he is everywhere. And what was the omni quality of this one? What was this quality called?
Omnipresence,
Omnipresence. And the other two?
omniscience, no, omnipotent.
Omniscience, omniscience and omnipotence. Very nice. Yeah. So omnipresence concept was kind of highlighted as one of the things to know about the Lord, that he is swifter than the mind. He can overcome all others by running. Yeah, he is a powerful, and although he has one place, he is everywhere. Although fixed in his abode, the Lord is everywhere. That's how through contradictions, the Lord's potency or the Lord's qualities are being described by Isopanisad. Because what is the Upanishad about? It is about getting closer to God. So we want to understand how the Lord is. So one of the aspects or ways to understand how the Lord is through this aspect of contradictions, because the Lord has so much of potencies that it looks that when you look at from one perspective, he is a set of contradictions. Yeah, Anita Mataji had a point.
So Guruji, as he's present everywhere, and most importantly, he's present in our heart, is that the reason, like we are taught from childhood that, when you feel alone or anything, always reach out for God because he's always there. And
Exactly.
is this a way, like, you grow to connect with something that you are not, it's not tangible, but still he's present
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, so the atheist, some of my atheist friends, they do not believe, and they say that, they always give the regular examples like why this is happening and where is your Lord, when this kind of a thing is happening. But now, after such a long duration of learning from Bhagavad Gita, I think even that thing that happens to that particular soul is due to their karmas, which
Karma,
they're not
exactly.
aware of. And so I mean, now I'm able to understand. Otherwise, even my mind used to get very boxed, because I have been made to believe that Lord is there everywhere, but I was not able to answer the question that if he's everywhere, why this unjust things are happening in the world. So I
Yeah.
think this sentence, if he is omnipotent, omnipresence, I think Lord has to do with the soul's karma, which
And he doesn't interfere in the soul's karma. If the
yes.
soul wants to enjoy, okay, Lord says, I will make arrangement for you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Whenever we get to read Bhagavatam describes this very beautifully, that the Lord wants to fulfill every desire of ours. Just like a father, he wants
Yeah.
to fulfill every desire of the child, a son or daughter. Yeah, same way the Lord has the capacity. He is omnipotent, so he is also able to fulfill. Oh, you want this? No problem. In this janma, you'll get. Oh, you want this? Okay, you'll get it. So based on our desires and karma, we keep on getting those different kinds of bodies so that we can enjoy whatever we have desired.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, that also generates a lot of karma, because
Yeah.
that's how the rule is of this material world. And
Mm.
then we have to also go through those, karmic reactions.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Lord as omnipotent, Lord as omnipresent, and being there everywhere in this particular. So in mantra number 5, which we will see today, further set of contradictions are mentioned. Let's look at what those contradictions are. But before that, any quick questions from invocation to mantra 1, 2, 3, and 4? Okay, so let's look at mantra 5 again, which is, if you look at mantra 5, it comes under knowledge of the supreme person. It comes here. Yeah, so it gives now additional information about the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So let's see what mantra 5 has to say. Yeah, Rashmi can read this one.
Tad ijati tan naijati, tad dure tadvi antike,
Tadvantike.
tadva antike, tad antar asya sarvasya, tad yu
Tadu
sarvasya, tad yu sarvasya bahyate,
Bahyatah. Okay,
bahyata.
very nice. What does it mean?
The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything and yet he is outside of everything.
So interesting set of contradictions is mentioned as to the quality of the Lord. One quality is he walks and he does not walk. Yeah. Now, if you see the previous shloka, if he's present everywhere, does he need to walk actually? He is present everywhere, but still he has the capability to walk. Right? Does it mean that he cannot walk? No, he can walk. That's one way to comprehend and understand. We'll see what Srila Prabhupada says. He is far away, but he is near as well. So he is far away. If he is so far, but still he is near. Like for example, the sun is very far. Yeah, but the sunlight has come here. And I say, oh, sun has come here, isn't it? When I equate sun to sunlight, yeah, in my mind, and we say, oh, the sun has come here, sun has come inside the house, isn't it? We say, close the curtain, the sun is coming, isn't it? We say, oh, the sunlight is coming, but we equate that to the sun itself. Sun is very far, but he is also in our house. So same way, the Lord is very far, but he's still sitting within our hearts also. Yeah, that's one understanding. He is within everything. So he is within everything, in every place, every anu. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma makes this premise, Andantarasta Chayanu. So in every anu,
Atom.
yeah, he is present. Now the Lord is present as part of the anu. So he's present within everything, but he is outside of everything. He's still outside, controlling everything and doing all of these particular things. Yeah. So interesting. It shows the concept of omnipotent. Yeah, that the Lord is omnipotent. Why? Because he has these amazing potencies of walking, not walking. He's far away, yet he's so near. He is within everything. He is outside of everything. So again, we can comprehend, we can understand that Lord as an infinite Satchitananda Swarupa, what all is he capable of. Therefore, what we have to do, we have to surrender unto the Lord. We have to follow the Ishavasya principle. We have to follow because we understand that the Lord is everywhere because of this particular quality of omnipotence and omnipresence. Okay, so let's see what Srila Prabhupada has to say in the first paragraph. Yeah, Rashmi can continue reading.
Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradictions given here prove the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. He walks and he does not walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions, and therefore we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding.
Okay,
For
hold on.
example,
Let's meditate on this. Now, so the highlighted portion, what an amazing statement. That what does this contradiction indicate? Many times this contradiction, somebody might say, oh, you're fools. Yeah. Or you're talking nonsense. But many times the many nonsensical things, if they are true, then they indicate extreme amount of power. Isn't it? And here the contradiction definitely indicates when we talk about in reference to God, when we talk about in reference to Krishna. Now, this contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. And this word inconceivable is very important. Why is it inconceivable? Because it's beyond our conception. We've established in the very first in the introduction to Isopanisad, that we have 4 defects. all of humanity in the Kali Yuga, especially in the Kali Yuga, has 4 defects. What are those 4? Who remembers 4 defects? Srila Prabhupada then lists.
We have the propensity to do mistakes.
Very nice.
We
Mistakes.
will.
Yeah.
We have the condition to be illusioned.
Illusioned. Yeah.
We have a cheating propensity.
Cheating propensity. Very nice.
And our senses are not so strong.
Senses are imperfect.
Imperfect.
Yeah. Senses are imperfect. So now if senses are imperfect, which means the knowledge acquiring senses that we have, if they are imperfect, if they do not have the capacity to comprehend. Yeah. So for example, a 3rd standard student, if he is taught integration, for example, let's say a very higher understanding, or he is taught algebra, will he be able to comprehend? The 1st standard, 2nd standard, he is not able to comprehend what are these equations about a square plus b square is equal to c square and all of this integral and derivative theorems. If you're trying to teach him, he is not able to comprehend that. Because why? His comprehension is, he does not have the conceptual power to comprehend. Yeah. But does it mean he will never understand? Yeah. As he grows, as he learns new concepts, as he learns foundational concepts of mathematics and algebra and subtraction and multiplication, as he goes ahead, as he gets to know more and more. So a difference between a 10th standard student and a 3rd standard student, of course, time is one of the aspects, but what else is the difference there? What do you think?
I think experience or exposure.
Exposure, very nice. Something more?
More knowledge is being
Knowledge
imparted.
coming from a teacher. So guru is there yeah. And what else?
Faith.
His own faith. Okay, faith. Yeah. What? Good. Yeah, faith is probably an angle.
Devotion.
Devotion also. What else? I mean, I'm talking about the 3rd standard student understanding in algebra and a 10th standard student.
Time, process algebra. And time.
Time, exactly. Yeah. So time goes and he gets exposed to a guru who teaches him so many things. Yeah. So you'll have a 4th grade teacher, 5th grade, 6th grade maths teacher who will teach him so many different things that when he is at the 10th grade, he is able to comprehend. He is able to conceive of. He is able to understand. Isn't it? So same thing, but when something is talked about, so if a 3rd grade student gets exposed to say Pythagoras theorem, he will say, what is this? How can he? I mean, he will not comprehend at all and he will not believe it, isn't it? Yeah. So same thing also applies to all of us. Yeah. Unless and until we kind of one more important thing, the one more important difference that comes also is the aspect of that the student, he does a lot of his own understanding. Manan happens, isn't it? He meditates on all the knowledge that he's getting. He gives exams, he does practice. Now so many things he does, and his understanding becomes perfect. Same way for us also. Right now, if something about the Lord comes up, we might think this is contradictory, isn't it? But it is only a matter of time. Slowly, when we get the right guru, when we comprehend, we can understand the higher metaphysical aspects of the Lord. And when we get exposed, oh, this is what, of course, we might not be able to fully understand the Lord, but at least we have an understanding of the inconceivable power of the Lord. And therefore, the contradictions just indicate in that sense how much is the inconceivable power of the Lord. Yeah, Anita Mataji, go ahead.
Guruji, as you all said all this, thought came to my mind that even in this process, as we have imperfect senses and all that, we also should be prepared to take this knowledge. And I think the grace of God is very important. And I think the process
Definitely.
which you go through, the cleansing of the soul and the mind and all that. Yeah, communication. I think that's the time you edge towards knowing. Otherwise, I think it's very difficult to know.
Definitely. That's all part of the understanding process and the application process that we do.
Yeah.
So as we apply, understand, we basically get our level to a higher level. And therefore, if you see, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Rashmi.
So, as I read the translation, it's a little trick of the language is what I feel. So in the earlier mantra, we said that Lord is everywhere. So when we come to this translation, it is like Lord is everywhere. Lord is, omnipotent. So even though he doesn't walk, he's walking, and he reaches everywhere. He's there. Since he's everywhere, you know, he's inside everything and he's outside everything.
Outside of everything, exactly.
And since he's everywhere, he's near also and he's far also.
Far off,
It's like I feel it's a little it's quite poetic.
It's poetic, yes.
Yes,
It's
it's quite
quite
poetic.
poetic, exactly. And it's actually a matter of also getting our head around it, around the Lord. Many
Yeah.
times we say, no, we have to get my head around this. So when
Yeah.
we think a bit more deeper about this particular aspect and we get our head around, then we comprehend, oh, this is what it means. This is how it is. That's how we get to at least appreciate the Lord's potency. We might not know the Lord's potency in full, but we might appreciate the Lord's potency. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that there are so many different understandings of the Lord. And we talk about three principal understandings of the Lord. How was the Lord? We see any all Bhagavad Gita students. Three conceptions of the Lord. Who remembers three ways to comprehend the Lord? We've discussed this many times.
Is the word
Brahman. Okay, something.
No,
I'll give you a hint.
Bhagavan,
Bhagwan, very nice.
Paramatma,
Paramatma and
Brahman.
Brahman, very nice. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, three conceptions of the Lord. And our Vedas basically discuss this. Vadanti tat tattva vidas. Vijnanam, what is that? Stoka, how does it go? Vadanti tat tattva vidas. Tattvam vijnanam avyayam. Paramatmeti, no,
Brahmeti
Brahmeti
Paramatmeti
Paramatmeti Bhagwaniti
Bhagwaniti.
Shabdate. Yeah, that the Vedic scholars, they understand the Lord in three conceptions. Yeah, Brahman as in light. Yeah, just as everything is just light. So if you try to look at the sun, you can't see anything. You just see light. You just see brightness. You just see, brilliance. So that is Brahman understanding. But when you go nearer, when you go beyond this particular Brahman, then you will see. Oh, sorry. So this light also reflects in many places. So that reflection of that light within our heart of the Lord is also an understanding. So that's a Paramatma understanding. So Brahman understanding, Paramatma understanding, and Bhagwan understanding. That Lord as in person. So even the Lord, he is so vast, so infinite that we try to understand the Lord in our perceptions. And our acharyas, they have understood the Lord in these three conceptions. The light form, the Paramatma or the localized Lord form, and third as in the Bhagwan as a person. So actually, that's what here Srila Prabhupada in our next, in the same paragraph, if you read ahead, he talks about how the understanding about the Lord comes in different philosophies. And he gives an example of the Mayavad philosophy here. Let's look at what he says further. Before that, one more point I wanted to make was here Srila Prabhupada mentions, with our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions. Yeah. So obviously now, because we are not able to conceive of the Lord we are now in third grade. We are trying to understand algebra, but we are now in third grade. What we have to do, we have to slowly think about, understand, get a guru, comprehend more. Slowly, we will then able to understand this contradictions in a better manner. Yeah. And here, Srila Prabhupada makes this example. Let's read ahead from here. This point here, Rashmi can read ahead. Go ahead.
For example, the impersonalist philosophers of Mayavadi school accept only the Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal feature. But the members of the Bhagavata school, adopting the perfect concept of the Lord, accept his inconceivable potencies and thus understand that he is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavata know that without the inconceivable potencies, there can be no meaning to the word Supreme Lord.
Yeah, so one of the theories says the Lord is only light. He's only energy, nothing else. Yeah, and the energetic or the energy sometimes takes a form and executes activities. So they say don't pray to Krishna, pray to the energy inside Krishna. And that is how they kind of misinterpret, or Srila Prabhupada explains. And that no. When Krishna says surrender unto me, he's not saying surrender unto me as in Krishna is surrender unto the impersonal inside Krishna, the energy inside Krishna. That's how they think. They think that this particular. But here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that what is the Bhagavata, but what is the Vaishnava concept? The Vaishnava concept is Lord is inconceivable, is personal as well as impersonal. Both qualities are there. Yeah, and this particular philosophy is worded as Achintya Tattva Bheda Bhed. Achintya as in inconceivable, Bhed Abhed, simultaneously one and different. He is this way and that way. He walks, he does not walk. He is impersonal and he is personal. Like that. So that is what the inconceivable potencies here is for us to comprehend how the Lord is personal as well as impersonal. If somebody wants to understand the Lord only as impersonal, fine, no problem. The Lord will also come to him, and impersonalists also get liberation. They go out and they sit in the Brahman outside of the material world. Yeah, so they are also getting liberation. They are also getting out of birth, old age, disease, and death. With that impersonal understanding also. It's not that they don't. Yeah, they serve. But when they go there, they think, oh, what am I doing here? Because the soul is active. Yeah. And then because he's just sitting there doing nothing, he comes down again into this material world and gets to the understanding of who the Lord in reality is. He's not impersonal, he is personal also. Yeah. And that's how the further understanding then begins for the impersonalists. Yeah, so that's the other aspect that we have to look at, the personal and the impersonal way. Yeah, that's what Srila Prabhupada explains further in this next paragraph. Let's look at this one here. Anita Mataji, can read.
Guruji,
Yes.
I had a
Question. Go ahead. Yeah, wait.
Sorry,
No
driving.
problem. Go ahead.
So does Atma have to experience the personal form of God? Only then it will get moksha?
No, moksha you can get for impersonal also. Moksha is, you have to understand, moksha and bhakti are two different things. Yeah. So moksha you can get from impersonal also, Brahman with yogic paddhati also, and with bhakti also. All three you can get moksha. You can go and sit in the Brahman form, or you can just be at in the Shanta Bhav in the Vaikuntha forms, or you can be a servant of Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. It's like you can do engineering. You can do engineering in your local engineering college, or you can go to IIT, or you can go to MIT. All three are engineers. Yeah, all three are engineers, but there is a level difference, isn't it? Same way, moksha, if you're thinking of only moksha is possible from impersonal understanding also. Yeah.
Okay. No, because
but moksha is not the only thing we have to develop. Because when you get only moksha, what happens is you're only understanding Sat form of the Lord, eternity form. The Chit and the Ananda understanding does not come in just the moksha form. Yeah. So if you want to really understand the Lord in full, Sat Chit Ananda, then the impersonal and personal understanding of the Lord is required. Yeah. Yeah. So moksha is possible for a bhakta, whether he is because he's always connected to the Lord, even in the material world, he doesn't think in terms of moksha. He says, wherever I am servant of Lord Krishna. Yeah. So in that sense, he is actually delivered already. He's already in the liberated form. He's already got moksha. Because wherever he is, I don't care. Even if dukkha comes, I don't care. He's equipoised, isn't it? So for him, moksha is coming to the understanding that I am a real servant of Krishna. So that really has to get registered in our mind, and that is how we have to execute everything. And the Ishavasya principle has to get registered fully in every action of ours. And then whether you are in this world or in your spiritual world, is totally irrelevant, because wherever you are serving Krishna only. Isn't it? Because even after moksha, if what you have to do, if you have to really think, after moksha I'm just going to sit idle, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah, because then what happens? You fall down again. But after moksha, if I get a service of Lord Krishna, then you are executing a service there. You are not, basically, there you are also in liberated form. You are also in liberated form in that sense. Yeah.
I got confused because I'm just trying to understand that you're saying even if you get moksha by
Impersonal.
meditating on impersonal form, like you will not get moksha, you'll come back to
You
earth.
will come
Is that
back
so?
because the soul is active inherently. Yeah, it has to do something. It has to do service. The original, what is the when do we get our real ananda? Our real ananda comes only when we are in our constitutional position. Like for example, as a parent's constitutional position is to serve the child, is to feed the child. When a mother feeds her child, she is extremely happy in that particular service state. Now she's serving, but still she is happy, isn't it? So when we are in our original constitutional position of serving the Lord, then we become really happy. Otherwise, we are just in a neutral form. In the impersonal conception, we are just in neutral form. We are not doing anything there, because you are just as the explanation of the impersonal liberation is like a speck of dust in sunlight. So when the sunlight is coming, for example, here sunlight is coming from this window. When it is coming streaming in, I can see specks of dust. We've all seen specks of dust on sunlight, right? So the soul is the impersonal liberated soul is like that. He is just a speck in that light of the Lord. Yeah, and in that small and he's just sitting there and is not doing anything basically. So therefore he gets he says, no, this is not my real full understanding. I have to get to my further understanding. So even though he is liberated, he does not have birth, old age, disease, death in that state. He comes down again to comprehend what this entire thought process is. Yeah, that's how our acharyas, our scriptures mention that specifically. The Bhagavatam mentions this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then they are given chance to take birth in devotees' family, na Prabhuji?
Yes,
to know the
yes,
Supreme Lord.
Exactly. Then he comes this Srimatam Sachinam Gehe. Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna says that Yogo Brashto Bhi Jayate. That what happens? Srimatam Suchinam Gehe. 6.41, if you remember in Bhagavad Gita. So they get into that understanding of the Supreme Lord. Okay, good. What other questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, let's read further on paragraph 2 of this mantra 5. Yeah, Anita Mataji can read.
Yeah. We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Isopanisad refutes this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away but very near also. The abode of Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. If the material sky extends so far, then what to speak of the spiritual sky, which is altogether beyond it? That the spiritual sky is situated far, far away from the material universe is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.6. But despite the Lord's being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed swifter than that of the mind or wind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. This has already been described in the previous mantra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So interesting, right? That just because we cannot see God does not mean that the Lord has no personal existence. Right? This room is fully dark, yeah, and it's like pitch black. we are not able to comprehend, not able to see anything. But if somebody is next to us, will we be able to see him? We say, no, there's nobody here. Can we say that just because we have closed our eyes or we are not able to see something, we cannot say that somebody does not exist. Just because I am not able to see, isn't it? That is so same way, just because we cannot see God because we don't have the capacity yet. That does not mean the Lord has no personal existence. That there's no argument to state that, oh, I cannot see God, therefore he does not exist. Tomorrow, if I just close my eyes, I say, none of you exist. That doesn't make sense, right? So interestingly, that's the another analogy where there is one nice philosopher, I forgot his name. His barber basically tells him that there is no God. It's, oh, I have to now explain to him in a way. And what he does, he basically tells 4 people that for 10 days, you don't shave. And he himself does not also shave. Yeah. And he basically then comes in and says, there are no barbers in this world. He says, why? Because see, nobody shaved here. But the barber himself exists, right? So he says, yeah, so that is just because you don't comprehend, you don't know, you don't agree, does not mean the Lord has no personal existence. And here Isopanisad is directly refuting that. What is he saying? He is far also and near also. Now, when he is near, then it is our own sense perception through which we can able to comprehend. If we're ready to believe that the Lord is near, then the Lord is near. Now, if you say the Lord is not here, Lord is not there at all. Yeah. So that's how the understanding comes that because the Lord is personal and he wants to have a personal relationship with every one of us. He is far away and he is near. So wherever you want him, if you want him there, he is always. And we've seen this in so many stories that we read in Bhagavatam or in so many other places. When Draupadi calls to Lord Krishna, he comes in as an help. Yeah, and so many different aspects we've seen. Prahlad Maharaj. Now, all these fantastic scriptures, the Bhagavatam, talk about how the Lord is present to help the devotees who have full faith in him. Prahlad Maharaj, though, is thrown from the mountain, still the Lord catches him. Yeah, and so many fantastic ways are shown as to how the Lord helps that particular devotee. So he is far away, but he is near also. So that's how he sees. And because the Lord is omnipotent and omnipresent, he is far away, he is near. And within a second, he is also there. So this if you look at this particular shloka in Bhagavad Gita, natad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Yeah, that the supreme abode of mind is not illumined by sun or moon nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So if you've seen the conception of the spiritual and material worlds, the famous picture that is always shown, let me put that up. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So we know this particular picture. We can see one universe. This is one universe. And of that, there is one small planet here and so many galaxies and everything. This is just one universe. Oops. Yeah. So it's just one small universe. On this, we are one small anu in this particular big universe. Like that, there are so many different universes. And this entire thing is this material world. Yeah. And beyond this material world is the spiritual world. So this is the real abode of Lord Krishna. In the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavana, he's sitting there, but he is also everywhere through his illumination, through his energy, through his internal and external energy. He is spread all over. He expands himself into this Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Then within each universe, he expands as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And then with each jiva, Within each jiva, he expands as Paramatma or Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So that's how the Lord's conception is there across. He is in his abode, but he is everywhere also. That is how we kind of comprehend the Lord's omnipotence, the Lord's omnipresence, omnipotence. Here, that's what is being mentioned. That despite the Lord being so far away, he can be with us within a second. And of course, previous shloka we saw. That's what he means. So the spiritual sky situated far away from the material universe is confirmed in this 15.6, and that's the picture that we saw as to how the Lord is present in all of those particular places. Okay. Let's look at only one last paragraph and we can close for the day. Yeah, Anita Mataji had a point. Go ahead.
Guruji, when we were reading this, one very subtle thought came to my mind that if this knowledge was made available at the right time, I think it would have cured so much of mental agony to the people who sometimes come to believe that, we can't handle it, or we are alone, or,
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
this,
unfortunately, yeah,
yeah,
maybe it's our past karma also.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, so
Yes.
maybe we were supposed to go through all of those, and only at the age of whatever, 40, 50, we are supposed to get this knowledge. But yeah, I mean, in that sense, Kali Yuga is going to become more and more problematic. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this knowledge becomes more and more significant for all of us to comprehend.
Right.
Okay,
And there is
let's,
one more
yeah.
thing. I came across something called Sambhala. I mean, the concept of Sambhala, which is there on our planet, like supposed to be the abode of, God. And this believed by the Buddhist, believed by the Shiva, people who pray to Lord Shiva. And it was a very beautiful concept that was explained. And the other thing is about the abode of Lord Shiva, which has been in Amarnath Yatra, and people go to this, that the section Kailash Parvat, which, like scientists have been trying to find out,
Yeah,
what
you
is,
can't go there. Yeah.
you can scale Everest, but you can't scale this because something or the other happens. There's a lot of mystery around it, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much emotion is there. So even these things, make me feel, oh wow, like, God is on this planet only somewhere. And
exactly.
it's
He's
very,
everywhere. He's within our heart only, Matri. Why?
yeah,
You don't have to search into Everest and everywhere.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's quickly read this and then close for the day. Who can read? Anadi can read this one. I think Sachin, Indu, Parina Madaji can't.
Yet when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. There are many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descends in the body made of matter, just like an ordinary living being. Not knowing his inconceivable power, such foolish men place the Lord in an equal level to the ordinary man. With the
Isn't it?
ordinary.
With ordinary men. So if you look at 9.11 beautifully, this is what many people, think. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Everybody thinks the Lord is made of same material as our body. They think the Lord also has the same body like us, which is made of, bones and but they do not understand the Lord as a transcendental nature. Just like we as a soul, we are very minuscule. Anybody knows size of the soul? Who knows? Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter.
1,000 of one ten
Okay.
thousand of
Yes,
the anu,
1/10,000
of the
of
atom
the
of anu.
no of the what I don't have.
Tip
Tip
of
of
the
the hair.
Tip
Yes,
of the hair.
1/10,000th of the tip of the hair.
Tip
That's
of the
what
hair.
it was Taittiriya Upanishad mentions. What is the size of that hair of the anu of the soul? So he's so anu, so small. Yeah. Now the Lord is fully soul, fully of that particular quantity. Imagine there's a huge fire, and in from that huge fire, sparks are coming out. Yeah. So same way, now that spark is so tiny and the fire is so huge. It's the same way the Lord is like that. And the Lord is fully soul. That's why it's called super soul. Just like man and Superman. Superman is there, right? So like the super soul, he is super soul, as in he is fully soul. That's how this form is. That's how the transcendental nature of the. And many times when he descends on earth, people think, oh, he is just another ordinary man. And why does that thing? Avajananti. Avajananti as in people who do not want to know. Either they don't know or they do not want to know. Yeah. So those are the people. Jananti, those who know. Ajananti, those who do not know. Avajananti, those who deliberately do not want to know. Or fools. That's how Srila Prabhupada describes them. So avajananti is because of that particular aspect of either not knowing or not wanting to know. People think, oh, God is somebody ordinary. And because of that, what do? They deride him. Deride him as in think that he is also like us. Yeah, okay, kya hai isme? Why do I have to surrender? So that's the other aspect that comes in, that when we come to know of the Lord's omnipotence, omnipresence, omniscience, then we will not deride him. We will be easily, casually be able to surrender to him, isn't it? And this surrender becomes all the more powerful when you actually love him. So when we love a person, we automatically want to do service to him, want to do service to that person, isn't it? So same way, because the Lord is a person, which means he can be loved. We can go into a relationship with him. And when we know my God, he is this amazing personality, his superpower. Then what happens? There's no concept of derision here. Automatically, through our own volition, you will follow the Ishavasya principle. Yeah. That's what this particular point Srila Prabhupada makes, that many times when the Lord comes to us, we neglect him. Yeah. And why do we neglect him? Either ajananti or avajananti. Because we do not know. Yeah. And therefore, we have to really comprehend the nature of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada makes that point. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. So he does not have bhumi rapo analo vayu kham, man buddhi ahankar. He doesn't have any of these things. He is that of the same quality as the soul that we are. Satchit ananda, whatever that dark matter. There is a concept in science called dark matter, where they are not able to able to find out what that thing is. Therefore, they call it dark matter. Now, all of that is what spiritual things basically. So imagine if in a huge quantity this dark matter is, then it becomes very powerful. Nobody comprehends what that matter is. Why? Because the entire thing is spiritual. That entire thing is not made of the 5 elements or any of these bhumi rapon or the subtle elements, whichever of them. Yeah, and because they do not know, what do they think? They think that the Lord comes in a body made of matter, just like any ordinary being. They think, oh, Lord also has karma attached to him. And therefore, many people gives this story about how Lord Krishna, because he did this and he got that particular punishment, he died like this because in his previous janma as Rama, he hid behind and he shot. So there are these are all unauthorized stories. There is no law of karma which applies to the Lord. Because the Lord is above the law of karma. Just like a government, the government or the government official, he is slightly above the law, right? He might not have to follow all the rules. If when a minister comes, he doesn't have to follow the red light, green light his cavalcade just goes past. So same way, the Lord does not have to follow all the rules, because those rules do not apply to him. So therefore, because of, again, avajananti, not knowing his inconceivable power, such foolish men place the Lord on an equal level with ordinary men. So that mistake we do not have to do. Why we do not have to do? Because we have to follow the Ishavasya principle. Ishavasa principle can very easily be followed if we comprehend the Lord is, oh, he is much more super, he is so much more super powerful. Then, and therefore he, everything belongs to him, and therefore I have to do everything for him. It out of our own volition, once we kind of have full faith in this understanding, then we will automatically follow Ishavasa principle. If not, what will happen? Then we want more and more. We're thinking, oh, I am God and all of this should be mine. No quota principle is followed then. Everything is mine. Everything that is there is also mine. And therefore, the collective consciousness of nations, what are they trying to do? They're trying to grab more and more land from everywhere. What are they? It's just an imaginary line, right? Yeah. But no, this is mine. This is mine. China is trying to take this and this. We are trying to, and then Russia is trying to take Ukraine. And why are there so many conflicts? Because nobody is following the quota aspect, quota principle. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's meditate on this particular thing to what we've read in the 3 or 4 shlokas as well as mantra number 5. And let's meet next week again to finish off mantra 5. Yeah, Anita Mataji had a point, right?
Yeah, just a quick one, Guruji. Well, you were talking about it, that he is not made from the matter or a body like ordinary living beings that we are made up of. Thinking about his pastime stories, the Leelas, where he is amply described that how we held the Vrindavan, mountain, or sorry, hill, his,
Govardhan Hill.
Govardhan Hill, sorry, and on his one finger, or how he killed Naga or the demon. So
Kalia.
those stories itself, is giving that he's not an ordinary,
Exactly.
yeah, like
Exactly.
it's just a thought process that
Yeah, but interestingly, if you look at the contradiction, also, if he is able to run so fast, how come Yashoda Maya is able to catch him when he runs?
Yeah, that's because of love.
Isn't it? So that's what Devavrut Muni, when he writes this, Satyavrata Muni, when he writes the Damodar Ashtakam, he makes a mention of this particular. You can run so fast, but still you are caught. And why are you caught? He says, because your mother loves you so much. You are caught because of love. Yeah, and therefore, if you see that day, what Anadi had shared in the group, I don't know, in this group it was shared, about how naturally Krishna is conquered by love.
Love,
Yeah.
yes.
So even though he is, you cannot catch him physically, you cannot catch him with force, but with love he can be caught with.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no other comments, then let's close for the day. We are already out of time. And we will finish off mantra 5 next week. एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रः तस्य नामानि यानि कर्मापि एकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरे परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कात्यायनी महामाये महायोगिन्यधीश्वरी नन्दगोपसुतं देवी पतिं मे कुरुते नमः श्रीकृष्णः शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि श्रीकृष्णः शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि श्रीकृष्णः शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीमद् ईशोपनिषद की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत।
Hare Krishna.